So you want to move to China for business, but you don't know where to start? Look no further, smart travellers have got your back. China, filled with temples, skyscrapers and palaces. Explore places like the Forbidden City and the Great Wall of China, all while getting paid. Seems unrealistic, right? Wrong. International business allows you to do this, while at the same time learning a new culture, expanding the business, and providing you with a potential pay rise. Before making the move, however, it is important to know the basics of the living conditions, general information, documentation, and business considerations. If not, it can cause miscommunication during important business meetings or your day-to-day life. This will be highly detrimental to your career, as the Chinese counterpart might see it as rude and disrespectful. While the main language in China is not English, it is surprisingly easy to communicate the right way. This is due to translators and universal gestures, and if those you work with can also speak English. Chinese economy is ranked second largest in the world. This means that the demand for international business people is expanding by the minute, making it an easier and smoother transition. In order to move to China, you will need to have an understanding of the basic information regarding culture and living. In Beijing, the currency is known as the Chinese renminbi, or CNY, where 1 CNY equals to 0.21 Australian dollars. In China, the main form of payment is through cash. This means that those wanting to live in the country will need to have a constant access to cash for their day-to-day life. If cash is not obtainable, a Visa card or MasterCard will suffice in large companies such as hotels or malls. Minimum wage in Beijing equates to approximately 5,993 Australian dollars, and the average wage is 15,333 Australian dollars. This should be taken into account when considering a job in China and before making any expenses. It should also be noted that China is 2 hours behind Australia in time, meaning contact with those in Australia will have to be well thought out and scheduled. Religious practicing should not be an issue when going to China, as the variety in belief systems is quite large. The main language spoken in Beijing is Mandarin. It is recommended that travellers have knowledge of basic terms used in the country, specifically when greeting someone. However, most business counterparts will either speak English, provide you with a translator, or request that you acquire one. This should be investigated before leaving, and the appropriate measures should be taken. Life in China. The use of gestures such as pointing or nodding is universal and can be used. However, it is not suggested to do so in a business setting. Cross-cultural training programs, which are programs designed to inform those moving overseas about etiquette and customs, are available for further knowledge. Moving to a different country, you must always consider every aspect of living there. Renting an apartment in Beijing can cost anywhere from 1,000 Australian dollars to 2,500 Australian dollars. If the person planning to move to China has their Australian driver's license and wishes to drive themselves in a foreign country, they can apply to get an international driver's license. This is a document that allows the recipient to legally drive as long as they still carry their Australian driver's license. To acquire this, individuals can access the IDL travel website and complete the form provided. Prices range from $25 for 1 year and $65 for 10 years. If the individual does not have a license or does not wish to drive, public transport options such as trains, buses and taxis are widely accessible. The cost of a bus fare is approximately 30 Australian cents, whereas the cost of taxis are 48 cents per kilometre. Australia and China have a double tax treaty, which means those who spend more than 184 days within the calendar year of China will have to pay tax based on the Chinese tax rates, as seen below. Other tax payments that may be relevant include a consumer tax rate of 20% for those who buy cars with an engine capacity of more than 4 litres, consumption tax, stamp tax, real estate tax, motor vehicle acquisition tax, and vehicle and vessel tax. The 31st of May is the final day to fill out a tax return form, which should be noted for long-term residency. Before leaving, it is highly recommended that individuals take out travel and health insurance. If not, you are liable to pay for your own medical expenses. As you will be travelling to a different country, you may be aware of the health risks associated. These include but are not limited to tap water contamination, avian influenza virus, and other illnesses. Precaution when consuming food and water should not be taken lightly. It is suggested that residents drink from sealed bottled water and handle poultry foods products the correct way. The appropriate vaccinations that are compulsory for every individual before entering China can be found on